Now this is where it starts getting very, very strange, okay? If you haven't already been blown away, this is where it should start to change your consciousness. The interior of the pineal gland, all along the inside, has rods and cones just like the retina on your eye. Do you think that maybe when they called it a third eye, that they knew what they were talking about? Do you think that an eye must have a cornea and a lens and all this vitreous fluid in it like we have? The fluid is there. But you just got the retina. So there's something that appears to be happening inside. It's like there's a little television in here. And you can actually get audio out of it, and you can get video out of it, and that video feed is being picked up by the rods and cones, and that's your imagination. That's the mind's eye. You actually have a retina. Have you noticed that when you visualize something strongly enough, that you really do see it? You can close your eyes, but you're still seeing things. This is where it's coming from. Now, some of it obviously can happen in the mind. I'm not saying that everything that you think is showing up inside this little gland here. But what I am saying is that a lot of your contact with the other side, when you're traveling through time or when you're having a dream, the interface between your dreaming body, the silver cord, as it's called, the silver cord is anchored right here. That's where it comes from. That's why when people have an out-of-body experience, they hear a loud cracking noise, and then they fly out of body. The crack comes from right in here. So, the answer to why this works is that there is an electromagnetic shield that is created when the light goes out. It may be stimulated by the release of the DMT, but these two little arteries here, they don't look like much, but it's a known fact that the pineal gland has more blood flow per cubic volume than any other gland in the body. This gland has the most high amount of concentration of energy from your body of anything else. And that's because it's our gateway. So if you can start to imagine the idea that there's this complex electromagnetic shield that starts forming like this, and you see all these weird rotations happening around it, and they're all going in these different directions, what that actually, and it becomes so fast, it's like, you know, if you move it fast enough, which I'm not really capable of doing, it would just start to be all red. You get a perfectly formulated shield around the gland. When you do that, you have now shielded off all of the electromagnetic, gravitational, and otherwise, well, not gravitational, but all the electromagnetic, the radio waves, all the energy that gives us a reference in space-time. That opens up the door to time-space, just like when you shoot that little carbon-60 molecule, the little buckyball, at the slit, and it pops inside out, and it turns into a wave as it goes through. Well, there are little molecules inside this water called microclusters. And those molecules can flip over. And that's the gateway that allows you to see into time-space. Down, you're going to tilt your head like this. Which way is the tetrahedron pointing now? Which way is the triangle going to be? Like this, right? And your eye is in the center. So doesn't that look a lot like this? So this is the secret, okay? There is a secret that has been kept right in front of our eyes. Nobody understands it. And again, as I said yesterday, I'm actually releasing this information for the first time. No one has ever made this public before. This is from deep in the Black Ops stuff, and I only was able to put the whole thing together from 7 different witness testimonies that all correlated independently of each other. That's how I found out that it's from the pineal gland. I'm not sure that they would want anybody to know this, so I am taking a risk at revealing this, but that's why I did it publicly first. Because this is what's happening. This is why this matters, okay? Could we reverse engineer the pineal gland? We have a basic system here. We have water that flips inside out. This allows you to see over into this other realm that we already know exists because we can prove in quantum physics that a particle turns into a wave and the wave is spaced out in time. Or has it already been done? Has it already been done?
Reality is very different to this three-dimensional view of the universe. And that'd be really mind-blowing.
There is another theory which is called the string theory, whose aim is actually to unify all these particles that we see in a single framework. So according to string theory, all particles are different vibration modes of a single fundamental object which is a vibrating string. One of the surprising consequences of string theory is that you reach the conclusion that there have to be extra dimensions in the universe.
If the LHC is lucky enough to penetrate with its very high energy inside these points that contain extra dimensions, then a complete new field opens up of possible new discoveries.
You're looking at 12,000 tons of metal and electronics, which have been put together with a precision of 5 microns. That's 5,000ths of a millimeter. And it's taken many companies, hundreds of universities and research institutes, and thousands of scientists and engineers to put these precision instruments together.
The detectors like CMS and Atlas arguably constitute the most complicated apparatus that science has ever seen.
The LHC and its detectors will produce billions of interesting events every month, but we'll need the computing power of the grid to tell us what we found.
There could be some big discovery about the nature of space-time, or just what's really out there, what's fundamentally there.
We could make a complete series of new particles. We could make wormholes, which are little holes in space-time in which you can go from one point in space and time to another point in space and time, so that you could travel to another time.
Scientific research is an exciting trip with a fuzzy map and an unknown destination. We are a bit like old-time explorers. We know there's a lot out there to discover, but if we knew exactly how and when we will discover it, it wouldn't be research.
The Hadron Collider in Geneva and the Fermilab Collider in Illinois, one of the functions of what they're really doing there is merging our reality with other realities where the Illuminati have won and already total power and control. That's the real experiment that they're doing.